I know that from being someone that was on the edge of society, when I was given the opportunity to have agency, to let my voice be heard, it was really, really powerful. When you give these people agency, the amazing, powerful things that come out of their mouths that give us ideas of what the solutions could be and what it's like to walk in their shoes, that is the main reason that I'm here doing what I do. We need those voices to be heard to make real change within the community.
I am a qualified teacher who is now a dustman. I decided to run for local council because I've always had an interest in politics, never really known what to do with it, and an opportunity arose for me to run as a councillor, so I actually did grab that by the horns and just thought, why not?
Well, I'm Bideford born and bred, lived here all my life. The reason I decided to run for the council was I just didn't feel like we were being listened to. There are so many things happening in the area and I just couldn't understand why. So I decided to run for the council. I was elected for the council. My aim is to try and listen to people and try and make a difference.
So I was given a leaflet to go to a TCG People's Assembly. I went. Within minutes, all the barriers that had stopped me from going with the main political party to stand were gone. Those barriers were meetings at times that I couldn't do because of having 2 children and a full-time job. Not understanding some of the written text, TCG got the barriers that stood in front of me and didn't have a problem with removing them. I felt thankful, grateful, relieved, empowered. This is what local politics or any form of politics should be like.
I'm in this to learn. I need to learn more about this. Our group, TCG, aims to address the lack of communication between the community and the council. We need to gain more experience with how the council works, what it can do, what it can't do, and how to take what it currently is and evolve it into something that works better for the community.
Some councillors sit on the same committees year upon year upon year, whereas it should change every year. Otherwise, people are going to get stuck in that control rut, if you like. I personally want to look 5 generations into the future as well as next year and next week, because that's what we need. We need to be looking to the future.
The evening of this second meeting where I put my hand up and said if it was all right if I could stand, I sort of got home and I sat there and I thought, oh, you've done it again, haven't you, Kay? Because I'm like a bull in a china shop. So I made a cup of tea, lit a fag and was like, seriously, what have you got yourself involved in? But at the same time, I was doing cartwheels in my head and I was like, this is the start of something massive.
It's about having a true mix of who lives in your community, from older people to men to women to different minority groups. Young adults are definitely a part of that. This new generation of kids is completely foreign to the politics that we're providing them with at the minute, and the more of these kids we get in representing who they are and what they want at local council level, the better. Where are the kids? We need them on there.
You know, being new councillors, asking a question that's not been asked before, asking why something's continually done like that. Why is it done like that? Because it's always been done. Well, why can't we do it in a different way? So it doesn't have to be moving a mountain or building a community centre. It's communication and questions, and that is changing itself.
Absolutely not. Political parties at local level just don't work.
No, I'm an independent. I really believe that large party politics shut out a massive part of our community.
My name is Peter McFadden. I'm one of a group of citizens who was elected to run the town council in 2011. We did this as a group of individuals without the constraints of party politics. We worked to change the relationship between the town council and the people, so that the council was working with the people, not just for it. It turns out that while town councils don't have to do a great deal, they can do if they're ambitious and want to. We worked to catalyse and build the strength of the community organisations that were in Frome, and then helped and supported them to bring significant amount of money into the town from funders like the lottery. And we also did things like buy a field on the outskirts of Frome, where 100 allotments now thrive, which was the whole of a 10-year waiting list, which was demolished at the stroke of a pen. It turns out that if you make sure your clerk has got the right qualifications, a town council can do anything that's legal.
I'm Pam Barrett, I'm in Buckfastleigh, which is in South Devon, and I'm the founder of the Buckfastleigh Independent Group. I've actually just stood down from our town council after 6 years of being mayor and deputy mayor, and we've made a huge difference to our community and the way town councils operate in our town.
Oh my God. So the weird traditions on town council, the Harry Potter robes, the standing up when you've already said hello to someone to wait for them to come in, the prayers, like, do we have to do all those things?
Tradition is peer pressure from the dead. You don't have to do any of those things.
No, all the dressing up and parading isn't required by law, and in fact I think it's not just silly games. I think it's actually quite harmful. It actually excludes people and it makes people feel intimidated, and I don't think it should be any part of a 21st century town council.
It seems that often party politics gets in the way of making the right decisions, and how can we change that?
This kind of thing shows inappropriate decision making and lack of ambition. But it also shows why it's really important to get a group of people together to run, so that there's at least a chance to get enough people in to have a majority. And in that way, you can really make things change. We need to get new voices into councils and people with really different experiences who can provide the representation that's needed. There's a real lack of diversity, and that needs to change.
Town councils need to ask what their communities want, they need to be talking to people, and they need to be finding out how to make those things happen. That would make them relevant in the 21st century. You're probably looking at attending a meeting a month, but the legal minimum is actually attending a meeting once every 6 months.
It can be really difficult for councillors who have parental needs and childcare responsibilities. But councils can provide for support in these circumstances.
There's space on a council for people no matter how much time they have to spare for council business. Just turn up and have a voice.
There is a culture of bullying. A lot of it is so subtle. So people rolling their eyes, looking away when you're saying something, looking quite dismissive, huffing, puffing. You feel like you shouldn't be saying what you're saying, or you need to hurry up and say it. Personally, I've had a couple of times where people have been quite negatively verbal to me, face on. What can we do to change this?
Inappropriate behaviour at council meetings just has to be challenged. We won't put up with that sort of behaviour at our work, and there's no reason to put up with it at a council meeting. Councils should be looking at creating a positive environment where people can have their say and not feel intimidated.
There's great support for you through the Indy 2021 campaign. We'll be able to offer a mentor, and then as we get closer to elections, there'll be a structured programme of support and training. We can help you find your voice, find ways of dealing with it, not putting up with it. There are networks of support which we can link you into. But you must call it out publicly and shine a light on it, and not be bullied or shamed.
Because change nothing and nothing will change. If you're already thinking of standing, it's because you've internally identified a need that people like you need to stand. So if you've already had that thought, I'd say what I'm about to say to the majority of people that I know are thinking of standing: look in the mirror and know that you can, because the community needs you. And that's it in a nutshell, really, because you can.
Because you need to care, and if you don't do it, then we're just going to stay with things just the way they are, and it needs to change. We need people to actually step up and do this.
If you're interested in your local community, in your local area, and you do want to make a difference, then you can. You really can. Just go do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it, and that is for real.
In communities where services have been cut back, where there's no youth service provision, where there's no support for older people, there's no fun or creative things to do, town councils can do that activity, they can make it happen. As a local councillor, you know what your community needs. You're speaking to people all the time, you hear what they're saying. There's a huge network of experience out there, and Flatpack 21 brings everyone together to share those experiences and learn from each other. There's loads of great ways to get good things done.
We don't need to wait for revolution and collapse. What we need to do is to get into power and then change the systems from within, so that we can create ways in which there is much, much greater participation and engagement by the citizens.
You just don't have to put up with the old nonsense. It didn't work. Well, it might have worked in the past, I guess, but it doesn't work now. Once you've got the majority on a council, there's loads of things you can do to make good things happen. People often ask me, what have we actually done to make a difference in Buckfastleigh? I'm going to test my memory now and try and remember some of the things we've done with the support of our community.
Every council should be playing a role in which it's at the centre of the community, supporting, catalysing, finding ways to fund and work with the existing structures and community groups that exist in the town. The time is ripe to cut ties with the old ways of doing politics.
Our constituents can smell bullshit and they can smell authenticity. They measure you on your moral compass, your kindness and your heart and your values. It's about the moral compass and the message and the change you're trying to make, not how pretty you make the plans look. Why should we take back local democracy? Why shouldn't we?
Is that me? Cool.